So Shay, I'm sure you've seen what's going on with Ja Morant.
Oh, with Ja. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like we need to be careful and understand how the things that we do in life and the impact that comes along with it, right? Like, and I
hmm
said this before about intention versus impact because sometimes, most of the time, we have good intentions. Like we don't wake up in the morning like I'm gonna mess something up today. I'm gonna try to lose my job. I want to be suspended. I want to do this. Like we don't wake up with having those intentions, but
Some
the
people do.
weight of the decisions that we make,
Yeah.
those are the things that
The stains we
are
can't
so
wash.
impactful. We can't wash them off. And
hmm
I know for you, because you are like such an advocate for players. So when that happened, I was like, oh, I got to talk to my girl because she is like the player advocate.
Mm.
How do you feel about that? Like, what was some of the things that was going through your mind about it?
Well, at the first time, I mean, they started coming out one after another.
Yeah.
So when you hear something the first time, you're concerned, right? My
Mm-hmm.
little feelers are going off like something's going on. But I'm going to wait until I hear more about it. Then another thing came out. And then another thing came out. And then even today, I saw something about him in a strip club. And I'm like, well, first of all, going to a strip club is a normal thing for most people. Like,
Yeah.
so then I'm like, well, okay, my initial thought is something's going on. Obviously, Ja Morant he didn't do this stuff before and he is doing it now.
Right. So what
Um,
happened? Like, what's
right?
going on?
So yeah, exactly. So my
Yeah.
thing is always to question the why. Um,
Yes. What's
I
happened? Like, why are you making those decisions? Like,
right.
when you know that the consequences aren't great. Like,
Especially when you've
yeah.
got it out the mud. And
Mm.
what the NBA does is try to find reasons not to pay you if they're paying you lots of money. If you're going to
Mm.
continue to make mistakes over and over, like nobody wants to
Yeah.
give money to somebody who's a liability. That's not a
Yeah.
good return on their investment. So,
Yeah. And you're a brand ambassador. I
right,
say that to Mikkel all the time. Like,
right,
you're the decisions that you make is not just about Mikal Bridges, it's the greater good. It's like you are a role model and people look up to you no matter, even if you don't want it, even though he doesn't
mm-hmm,
mind it. Like Mikel's a good lad, but I would tell him a few things. One, be very mindful of the people that you put in your corner,
mm-hmm,
because the people you have in your corner that want to do right, like you start making bad decisions, good friends will be like, yo, no, no, no. Like Shay,
mm-hmm.
when sometimes I open my mouth and I like, for me, like you got the new transparency who just wants to talk about anything and everything. And sometimes I'll go down that lane and Shay be like, yo, nope, cut. Like nope, nope. Like good friends will keep you
Hell yeah,
honest,
hell
and they
yeah.
will not allow you to make poor decisions. They'll call you out and like, yo, no, 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 cut that camera off. What you doing? That's what Shay be like, yo, cut, nope, don't start again. We're
At
not using
risk,
internet. Right.
at risk of someone that you love getting mad back out at
Yeah.
you. But you
Yeah.
can't worry about that. You have
Yeah.
to be honest and open with your friends to make sure that they don't make those bad decisions.
Yeah.
Or
So
do
yes.
things that they're unaware that could make,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, a stain that you can't wash off.
Yeah.
That's kind of always
That's
what
hard.
I'm always hovering over my people, athletes in particular, because that's my job, but always hovering, trying to make sure those moments are few and far between if I can avoid it. So
Yeah.
yes, T, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would say, Mikkel. One is be careful about the people that you hang out with, right? Because you need to have good people in your circle, right? Two is that you have to make smart decisions in everything that you do, because the one bad decision can be very costly. And like we just talked about, it could be that stain that you just can't wash off.
Yeah.
And you have to be mindful about those decisions. And, it was something I talked to him about early on, as a college player. It's like, look, when he went to the NBA, I'm like, okay, Mikkel, like it's magnified now, even at a
Mm-hmm.
higher level than it was when you were an NCAA player, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people are looking at what you do, they're looking at the decisions that you make. And unfortunately, they judge. Like that's just what they do. And, that's the part that I don't love, as a parent of an NBA player. Like I stopped reading all the comments because they will go in. Like when you're hot, you're hot, or when you're not, you're not. And if you make a mistake, like, you know, sometimes fans can be very unforgiving, but at the same time, it's like you have to realize that every decision that you make, there is something that's attached to that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
making the wrong decision or doing something that can be a huge or a negative reflection of you,
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that you need to be mindful of and think. And if you are confused about something, call mama because she'll keep you
Yep.
honest always. But just be careful about what you do because guess what? All the things that we do, it comes with consequences, right? And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we don't want that. Even, I've seen, just for me being an HR professional, like it's not easy because I have to make hard decisions all the time. And I don't love it sometimes, but that's the nature of my job. I got to hold people accountable
Yeah.
and it's not easy. But you have to be mindful about what you do. And then don't get mad. People, what do you think happens? People get mad at like, oh, why'd you do? Well, how could you? And why? It's like, slow down. Take a look in the mirror. Think about what you have done that has cost, that now you have to pay the price. But think about your actions. We are so fast to look back. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have done it. You don't have my back. And how could you die? It's like, slow down. Make the right decisions in life. Take the time to think through consequences before you take the action.
And the right decisions, sometimes you don't know what they are, but if you have that gut feeling where you feel like you have to ask somebody if it's right or wrong, it's probably wrong. And also to add on to your point is sometimes it's not only the person, it's people you have surrounding you, influencing you in certain ways, who are saying things like since we are close to Mikhail, we have to be mindful of how we act, what we say. We can't go too far because it affects him, right?
Yeah.
So we all are in this together. So it's just one of those things where I'm looking at Ja and I'm thinking, what is happening with the foundation? And does he have the right people around him to support him through this? And also sometimes consequences are a good thing because only then can you realize what you've had and appreciate what you had when sometimes it's at risk. You never want them to lose the things that they've gained through their hard work in the process, but sometimes being held accountable is awakening and it will help you get to the other side and to learn and to go towards your purpose. So sometimes it works out in the end, maybe not how you wanted to, but eventually you'll get there where you start to learn from those things. So
speaking of consequences, I got pulled over the other day. I didn't tell you about this.
No. I love how you keep telling me on things like on the show.
I know. It's like you guys are on this. When you talk about TV and transparent, like literally, I'm like, oh, Shay, did I tell you that I'm 8 months pregnant? No, I'm sorry, I didn't. I'll be having a baby next month.
I'm like, T. But that's
I didn't realize. But no, so I got pulled over. First of all, I haven't been pulled over in like 15 years. I was like, I saw a little lights. I was like, huh?
Like, me?
Confused? So I pulled
what
over
happened? Yeah, what happened?
He's like, license, insurance, registration, please. I was like, okay. I was like, I have permission to go in my bag and get my stuff. Yeah. Let's get my stuff a hand over. I look at it. He's like, he's like, I pulled you over. Your tag expired. I was like, oh, okay. So I have to switch over my tags from Arizona to here. And it's like, been trying to call Tesla because they never sent me my metal plate. So it's like a whole bunch going on. But make a long story short, the tags expired January 22nd. So I'm like, I thought you get like a little, what happens to that 60-day grace period that you get? I guess no grace period. He just said, he was very, like, he wasn't nice. He wasn't mean. He was just like neutral, just like, look, like very by the book. He's like, I'm going to mail you out a citation. I was like, okay. I was like, oh, no warning. Okay. I guess what happened? Y'all don't give those out anymore. Like, warning, go get your check, go handle that. But,
they got quotas. They got quotas.
Yeah, I know. So I opened the mail today and I was like, oh, because right the very next day I went to the tag place. I was like, yeah, I got to get this switched over. And it's like, yeah, it takes about 2 weeks, but, keep this in your car or whatever.
Yeah.
And today I open up the mail and I get the citation, $208. I was like, Okay. So that's the consequences for me dragging my feet, getting that registration.
And you having to pay that price is going to make sure it's going to etch that in your mind for next time. You're like, I don't want to do that again.
Oh no, I'll be thinking about it ahead of time.
I don't like how that feels.
Before. Yeah, I don't like how it feels. And, I don't know what it, just kind of like the history of all the things that has happened in our climate. I was very nervous. Like
of course.
I was scared.
Of course.
When I got pulled over.
Because you don't know what can happen. Right.
I was very afraid. And I just don't like that feeling of being so like
vulnerable.
Yeah, very vulnerable. So now I got pulled over. So that was the consequences of T dragging her feet and being too busy for the small thing. So yeah, like don't do that. There are consequences, people, for all of our actions, and whether it be intentional or not, and I feel for Ja, like
I feel for him
I always
too.
think, it hurts me to see him going through the things, but more importantly, I pray that he gets the help that he needs to get him back on track, right?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So listen, tippers, please continue to follow Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcasts. And more importantly, don't forget to go check out our library. We have some amazing content out there. We have over 100 episodes. We have some amazing guests come that came onto our show. We made a few popular people cry, Jalen Brunson and Jay Wright. So we know that you guys love the both of them. JJ doing his thing, first of all.
Okay.
Right now.
So literally. Yeah.
So you guys need to go back and listen to those. And especially like, it's like, you guys are dating us, right? Like we are your dates. And if you want to know more about your two girlfriends, please go back and check those out and learn more. So, wherever you get your podcast, go check out our episodes and continue on this journey with us. Yay.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Love y'all.